welcome to The Explainer. So, let's get one thing straight. We're not here to talk about the hat or the pipe. We're here to decode a powerful way of thinking, a mental toolkit that you can actually use every single day. We're going to unlock the secrets to thinking like Sherlock Holmes. And this line right here, this famous jab from Holmes to Watson, it's the key to the entire kingdom. The difference between just seeing what's in front of you and truly observing it, well, that's a superpower. And as you're about to see, it's a skill that had very real, life-changing consequences, even for the guy who invented Holmes in the first place. So I want you to meet George Edelgy. He was a quiet, unassuming lawyer, and his life got completely turned upside down. Why? He was accused of something bizarre and brutal, mutilating farm animals. The thing is, the case against him was a total house of cards, built on prejudice, not proof. He spent 3 years in prison, and even when he got out, his name was mud. He couldn't work. He was a total outcast.
And this is where it all changes. Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Holmes, agrees to meet with Edelgy. As he's waiting, he just watches. He watches Edelgy read a newspaper. Now, where the police saw a criminal, Conan Doyle saw one single crucial detail. Edelgy was holding the paper just inches from his face and at this weird sideways angle. A tiny little detail, right? But it was about to blow the whole case wide open.
In that one single observation, the whole case against Edelgy just crumbles. Conan Doyle realized the man was practically blind. He had severe myopia and astigmatism. The idea of him stumbling around dark, muddy fields in the middle of the night to attack animals was, as Conan Doyle put it, absolutely ludicrous. And this wasn't just about clearing one man's name. This observation, this Holmes-style thinking, actually led to the creation of England's first court of criminal appeal, a legacy that protects innocent people to this day. So how in the world do we get this power for ourselves? Well, it all starts with a simple but really profound metaphor that Holmes used for his own mind. Okay, so picture your mind as an attic, a brain attic. Now you could just throw everything up there, right? Old furniture, junk, useless trivia, making it impossible to find anything you actually need. Or you could be like Holmes. You could be selective. You carefully choose only the most useful tools to store up there, and you keep it all neat and organized, ready for when you need it. Now, inside this attic, there's this constant battle going on. See, we all have a system Watson. That's our gut reaction. It's fast, it's emotional, and you know what? It's often wrong. It's the part of us that just leaps to conclusions. But we also have a system Holmes. That's the slower, more logical, more deliberate thinker. The whole trick isn't to get rid of Watson. You can't. It's about knowing when to tell him to take a seat and let Holmes have a proper look. So if you want to build a high-performance brain attic, you've got to master the art of choosing what you even put in there in the first place. And that, my friends, all comes down to observation. This is really where we separate the Watsons from the Holmeses of the world. Watson sees, but Holmes observes. Think about your attention like it's a spotlight. You can just wave it all over the place, right? And you'll catch little glimpses of a lot of things. Or you can focus that beam on one single spot and see every single detail. That's the difference. And it is absolutely a skill you can train. The secret sauce here is something called engaged passivity. And yeah, I know it sounds like a total contradiction, but it's actually simple. You tune out all the other noise, all the distractions, so you can become hyper-focused on one single thing. It's the complete opposite of multitasking, which is our brain's default setting, and honestly, its worst enemy.
Okay, so you filled your attic with high-quality stuff. Now what? Well, the real magic starts to happen when you begin rearranging the furniture up there, and you see how all the different pieces can fit together in new, totally unexpected ways.
All right, let's put your brain to the test with a classic puzzle. You've got a candle, a box of tacks, and some matches. Your mission is to stick that candle to the wall so that it can burn without dripping wax all over the floor. Go on, you can pause and really think about it. Most people get totally stuck on this one. So, did you figure it out? The solution is you empty the tacks out of the box, you tack the box to the wall, and voila, you've got a perfect little shelf for your candle. The reason this is so tough for most people is a little mental block called functional fixedness. Our brains get stuck. They see a box and think, container, and that's it. It takes a creative leap to see it as something else, like a shelf. So how do you get better at making these kinds of creative leaps? Well, here are 3 simple tricks. First, change your environment. Literally, get up and go somewhere else. A new view can give you a new mental perspective. Second, get some distance. Step back from the problem and try to look at it like it's someone else's. And third, just walk away. Go do something totally different and let your subconscious mind do the heavy lifting for a while. So, with a well-stocked and well-organized attic, you can finally start to draw some conclusions. But this is where you have to navigate the most dangerous traps of all, the ones inside your own mind. Okay, this is a really big one. Our brains are absolute suckers for a good story. We love a clean narrative, and we're constantly trying to make facts fit into one. The danger, of course, is that a story that feels right can easily beat out a conclusion that is actually logically correct. And that's exactly where our biases sneak in. Let's try another one. So, read this description of Linda. Now, which is more probable? A, that Linda is a bank teller, or B, that Linda is a bank teller and is active in the feminist movement? Take a second. If you're like most people, you immediately jump to B. And that's your system Watson at work, falling in love with the better story. But the correct answer is A. And the reason is just simple, cold, hard logic. Think about it. The group of all bank tellers has to be bigger than the smaller group of feminist bank tellers within it. It's a classic mental trap called the conjunction fallacy, where our love for a story that makes sense leads us right off a logical cliff. And hey, if you think you're immune to this stuff, think again. The implicit association test shows our hidden biases in stark reality. A shocking 80% of us show a preference for the young over the old, even if we consciously believe in total equality. These little mental shortcuts are running in the background all the time, trying to mess with our thinking. And finally, we have to talk about this. Building a mind like Sherlock Holmes isn't a one-and-done project. It's a lifelong process. It takes maintenance, it takes practice, and it takes a really healthy dose of humility. Look, here's the bottom line. A sharp mind is just like a razor. If you don't use it, it gets dull, it gets rusty. The second we think we've mastered something, our brain just goes on autopilot. And that's when the two biggest enemies of clear thinking creep in: complacency and overconfidence. What we're really aiming for is what the book calls a hunter mindset. I want you to picture a hunter out in the wild. They're always alert, but they're calm. They're ready to adapt to whatever happens. They know when to pounce and when to just wait. It's a state of constant mindful awareness. That's the goal.
You know, this isn't really about being a detective in some story. It's about being a better detective in your own life. It's about seeing the world with more clarity, making better choices, and understanding yourself a little more deeply. So the real question is this: are you ready to investigate the most fascinating mystery of all, your own mind?